Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the responses to the Balloons 86 quiz I released last week. I just want to start by saying that I'm really impressed on how well this quiz did, as over 500 of you responded to it, combined from Reddit and YouTube, and on top of that, over 100 of you left feedback to the quiz, which I appreciate because I plan on doing more videos like this in the future with Google Forums. And another thing is an overwhelming majority, 93% of you enjoyed the quiz, so I appreciate that. Now, moving on to some interesting stats about the quiz. Up until the end, there was a near 50-50 split between responses from YouTube and Reddit. Towards the end, YouTube pulled ahead a bit and ended up being a 56 to 42% split. And 4 people responded that someone shared the quiz to them. I honestly didn't expect anyone to put this answer, but I put it in there just in case, and surprisingly, 4 people did. Now, the option that got picked the least out of the entire quiz was level 100 for the question, what is the highest level? It was only picked 4 times. And the exact opposite of that, the most chosen response was Quincy, on who is the most expensive hero. It was answered 387 times. This was also the most correctly answered question, at a 77% accuracy rate. Now, 12 questions were missed more than 50% of the time, which actually surprised me. I expected it to be less than that. And the only question where an incorrect answer was picked more than the correct answer was the question, which feature was added first? Co-op was chosen more than the correct answer, which was races. This was also the most missed question, only being answered correctly 25.4% of the time. The closest question was, how much health does a round 100 bat have? 20,000 HP was chosen 182 times, and 28,000, which was the correct answer, was chosen 183 times. Question 2, which was what is the highest level in the game, was actually given away in the stats section, where the highest level you can choose is 155, but over 100 people still got that question wrong, even though it was given away. And nobody received a perfect score. This was probably the most shocking stat to me. I expected there to be at least one person who got perfect score. And on the flip side, not a single person got 0, so that's reassuring. We're now going to be moving on to general stats about the quiz, as well as demographics by platform you play on, where you found the quiz, how long you've been playing, and your current experience level in the game. Now, starting off, the average score was 10.2, and 11 points was the most commonly received score. The lowest score was 1, which was only received by one person. And on the other side, the highest score was 19, which was also only received by one person. Congratulations to whoever got 19 points. You are the smartest Balloons 86 player, according to this quiz. Now, sorting by how long you've been playing the game for, there's about an even distribution of how long players have been playing the game. The most common length is over a year, and surprising to me, 20% of players have only been playing for less than a month. 61 players have been playing since release, and the average score for that group was 11.2. 80 players have been playing for more than 2 years, and the average score for that group was 10.7. Players who have been playing for more than 1 year, this was the largest group with 145 players. The average score was 10. 117 players had been playing for more than 6 months. In this group, the average score was 9.5. And 97 have been playing for less than a month. The average score was 9.8, which is actually higher than those who've been playing for more than 6 months. Now, these results kind of show that how long you've been playing the game really doesn't affect how well you would have scored in this quiz. The difference between the highest group and the lowest group was only 1.4 points. Now, it's a different score when we look at your current experience level, as this has a bigger effect on how well you would do in the quiz. Almost half of the participants in this are level 50 to 100. 15 of them are max level, and 41 are only level 1 to 50. Of the 15 players who said they were max level, the average score was 12.8, which is much higher than the baseline average on this quiz. 105 of the players were level 125 to 150, and the average score was 11.9. 116 players were level 100 to 124, and the average score was 10.8. Now, the bulk of the players were level 50 to 100. Of the 225 players in this group, the average score was 9.2 points. And 39 players were less than level 50, and in this group the average was 7.5 points. Now, when sorting by experience level, the difference between the highest and lowest group was 5.3 points. Moving on to what platform you play on, this one surprised me. Almost 50% of the players play on Steam. I honestly expect it to be Android just because of how accessible and common it is. Only 30% play on Android and 22% on iOS. Now, the three platforms all had similar average scores. Android was the highest at 10.3, then Steam at 10.2, and iOS, which was 9.8 as the average. Now, iOS was the lowest, but it really wasn't that big of a difference between the three platforms, so this kind of shows that what platform you play on doesn't significantly affect how well you would do in this quiz. Now, for where you found this quiz, it's interesting. 221 players found the quiz on Reddit, 284 found it on YouTube, but 4 people had it shared to them. Now, players from Reddit averaged a score of 11, while players from YouTube averaged 9.5. Now, this honestly doesn't surprise me because generally people who are on the BTD 6 subreddit are more knowledgeable about the game and have more experience and have played longer. And most of the people from YouTube are new to the game due to like the recent explosion of the game and people wanting to find content on the game. So, I guess this shows that BTD 6 Redditors are technically smarter than people who watch Bloons TD 6 on YouTube. So now we are going to be moving on to the responses to each question individually. Now starting with question 1, 306 of the responses were correct. The correct answer was June 14th, 2018, for what day was the game released. Surprisingly, most people got this right just because I guess everyone kind of knows when the game is released, at least based on personal experience. Now for question 2, what is the max level? This kind of surprised me. 86 people answered that there is no max level, which I didn't think many people would pick, but I guess you'd be surprised. Now 75% of people answered this question correctly. Question 3, how much money do you start with in sandbox mode? The correct answer was 9,999,999. But only 36.9% of people got that right. There were a lot of people who either added a couple extra 9s or removed a 9. Which honestly, I thought this one's going to be super easy. I just sort of know that it's 9.9 million, but hey, you never know. You'll get surprised sometimes. Now, how many medals can you earn for each map? 327 of you answered that correctly. 14 was the correct answer, and unsurprisingly, the majority of people got this right. Question 5, the first place race award gives blank trophies. 100 was the correct answer. 211 of you got that right. And honestly, I thought this one was going to be easy. Like, everyone was going to get this right, or mostly everyone. But only 42% of people did. I guess that just kind of shows that not everyone is involved in races or pays attention to them. Now, question 6, how many heroes have 3 skins, including their base model? Most people answered this one right, but there were a lot of people who answered 1, 2, and 3, which, again, I guess doesn't surprise me for this one because it's not common knowledge how many skins each hero has, and plus it's constantly changing, but I'm surprised how many people answered 1 and 2 because I knew that there were at least more than 2 that had 3 skins. Now, the highest tier of monkey knowledge cost how much monkey money? The overwhelming majority of people got this one right. Didn't surprise me. The answer was 1,000. For what hero is the cheapest? Quincy was the correct answer and was responded 386 times. This was a pretty easy question, but I figured I'd put it in there. This one was not surprising at all. Now, question 9, what are the children of a lead balloon? I honestly get confused about this one. For some reason, I think it's 1 black, 1 white a lot of times, so it doesn't surprise me that 100 people answered that, but 2 blacks is the correct answer. Around 100 bad has how much health was question 10, and this one was quite the shocker to me. Not only did about 140 people answer 10,000 and 34,000, but it was pretty much a complete tie between the 2 correct responses. Now, since this picture was taken, the screenshot of this, the answer actually kind of changed, and now the correct answer pulled ahead by 1 response, but when I took this picture, it was a complete tie between the correct answer and 20,000, which I didn't think would happen. I thought everyone kind of knew that it was 28,000 with ramping, because the last time I made a quiz, I got a lot of complaints about this, because I just said how much health does a bad have, not round 100, not round 80, wasn't specific, and everyone got mad at me because the right answer was 20,000, not 28,000. So, moving on to number 11, name the upgrade that is being described. Calls a vine from the ground to entangle and crush balloons one at a time. See, I didn't expect many people to get this one wrong. The only answer I expected people to pick was Spirit of the Jungle, just because I was trying to confuse people, or Druid of the Forest. Just, add some confusing things in there, but nope, most people got that one right, so that's good. How many hero knowledge are there? This was one that I honestly didn't even know myself. I had to look in the game. The answer was 13, and 205 of you got that right. 41% to be exact. How many heroes are there? Number 13. 11 was the correct answer. And this was another one I had to go into the game to count just to make sure, because I wasn't sure. So, unsurprisingly, only 35% of people got this one right. Now, which one of these towers has been in the game since release? Druid was the correct answer, but I'm shocked that 146 people picked Mortar. That just shows how many new players there are, because Mortar came out about 5 months after the game came out. So, if you haven't been playing pretty much since the beginning, you wouldn't know that. So, it makes sense that 146 people picked Mortar because it was in BTD 5, but it wasn't necessarily in BTD 6 to begin with. And Druid was not in BTD 5. Now question 15, what are the children of a bad? 2 ZOMGs and 3 DDTs was the correct answer. And 47% of you got that right. And this was another really close response too. 107 of you picked 3 ZOMGs, 2 DDTs, and 2 ZOMGs, 2 DDTs was picked 106 times, so that was another one of the really close responses. Question 16. What was added in the first update to the game? The answer was Captain Churchill. It came out about a month after the game came out, and I was pretty excited for this update, because it was the first new thing to ever come to the game. And only 50% of people got that one right, which again just shows that the majority of people haven't been playing since release. Now, how many towers are there in the game? 42% of people answered this one correctly, which honestly didn't surprise me because it's hard to do a mental count of how many towers there are, and with Engineer, that makes things even harder, so yeah, don't surprise me. Music tracks in the trophy store cost how many trophies? The correct answer was 40, and 45% of people got this one right. 25 trophies was chosen 35% of the time, and 17% of the time, 50 was chosen. And this is a newer feature, so doesn't surprise me that not everyone knows about it. Now, this was the question I actually originally had the wrong answer for at first. Some of you who took it like in the first hour would have known that. I had Challenge Editor as the correct answer to this, but I didn't realize that races came out a couple months before that. Races are older than you think. And unsurprisingly, only 25% of people answered this question wrong, considering I got the wrong answer at first. Now, 104 people chose Challenge Editor, and 82 chose Collection Events. Now, what really shocked me was that Co-op was the most chosen answer. Co-op was released summer of 2019, so not even a year and a half ago. I can't believe that most people didn't know that races, the Challenge Editor, and Collection Events were older than that. And the final question, how many beginner maps are there? 17 was the correct answer, and 169, funny number, of you answered that one correctly. And about 300 of you answered that incorrectly. So I think that just about does it for this video. I really do appreciate the support on these more experimental videos, as they generally don't do as well on the channel, which kind of affects it, but hopefully this video does well, and if it does, I'll do more quiz videos like this in the future. So, thank you so much for watching and all the support in the channel. Make sure if you enjoyed to subscribe, and if you'd like the video. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.